Hello again, Elias here, driver and engineer from the team Red Bull Driftbrothers, and welcome to Beyond the Wheel. Today we're talking about a really special battle, at least for me. So it was back in 2019, the last race of the season in Mondello, Ireland. It was the second time for Joe and myself to be there. However, the first time on that track layout. This was a really special one. So we started on top of the hill, went down really fast in initiation to the first wall, to the second wall, transition, going about 180-degree bend into a roundabout, turning around and driving that all back. Yeah, we started out, if I'm not mistaken, dry in the practice runs. It started raining for the qualification, and it was sometimes patchy even in the qualification, and that was the trickiest part, I would say. There were many victims, many back bumpers, and cars broke there. It was really tricky conditions. And for the battles, actually, I think we also started, no, it already started when it was raining, then it started pouring. So it was such a heavy rain, and one really prominent victim of that was really unlucky James. So he initiated and just aquaplaned, so he was on top of the water. He had unfortunately lost the control over his car, but yeah, if you're on top of the water you can't control it, and he smashed into the wall big time. From that point on, the judges reviewed the track and looked where the water was standing, and they decided to change the line. Instead of initiating out to the wall, we had to initiate mid to the left side of the track, because there was actually less water. On the outside there were really deep puddles. Then we had an inner clipping point instead of the outer clipping point that we had before, and the rest of the track was basically the same. So this was just decided before the top 8 round, which I managed to get to. Yeah, the judges came down to the pre-start area, talked to us, told us the reasons why they've changed the layout, if we are all fine with having it changed. Then I think we did all a sighting lap, so we drove slowly the track on the new line, saw how it looked, and then we went straight into competition mode. So I ended up against Matt Carter from the UK. He's in drifting ever since I'm interested in drifting. So I know him from like the way early days. He also used to drive for the Falcon team with his Skyline back then already, with the Falcon livery back in the days with the huge wing. I really loved that. It was looking awesome. It was the first time that I met him in competition, and Tony, our crew mechanic, he told me, hey, Matt is really fast in the wet. And so we put in all the grip that we had in the car to hopefully keep up with him. And so yeah, I started the lead lap first because I was the better qualified. And I would say enough of the talking. Let's look at the battle once without me talking, or only a bit, and then we break it down what happened in which scene. So yeah, let's jump right in. So you can also see in the speed comparison, he was way faster than me in the previous runs. Yeah, but let's look what came out here. So going down, as I said, on a new line, so we had to initiate in the middle with an e-brake initiation and then clip the inner, and Matt was already on me. Transition inner clip, not this one, the second one here, we had to be on the inside, and there I pulled away a bit, and then we have an outer clip in the entire roundabout. Matt did a great job staying with me, and the end of the roundabout was really slippery. There I could pull again, outer clipping point on the outside, and then inner clipping point, the one with the cone on top, transitioning, and now also staying on the inside, not going to the outside as before. But actually there were the really deep puddles that almost took me out. So this was my lead lap. I think Matt did a quite good job on following me, especially when you take into account the conditions that were really tricky. Super pumped now, standing at the start line. Yeah, the guys told me Matt did a great job, so stay on him, stay on his door. So initiation I did behind him, tried to close the gap right to the first apex. That was quite a good job. Transitioning, had a small wobble there, but could close the gap again. Matt missed the inner clipping point a bit. Then coming to the roundabout, I was really close to him, and yeah, there was a slippery bit, but this time I haven't tagged him. Transitioning out, this was for me the hardest part, to keep the proximity there, and there he just dropped one wheel on the inside and threw a lot of dirt on my windscreen. I couldn't see for half a second. But yeah, this was the chase run. So I think there's a replay coming. So I would say there we break it down in the several bits and pieces. So yeah, this is from the drone perspective. So just after the initiation was okay proximity. I knew that the transition was coming up, so that's why I always was rather on his back wheel, not on his door. And if we go further here, yeah, there you can see transitioning just a tiny bit ahead of him so that I could close the gap for the long turn that was following. And if I transition a bit earlier, you will see it, I can jump on a bit tighter line and stay closer to him. So transition is done, and as you see, I tried to jump right on his door. There was a small wobble in the car, the judges also saw that, but I was basically within about a meter away from him, so this is quite good proximity. Now the next inner clipping point comes up here, and Matt unfortunately missed this one a bit, so he should be with his front wheel in this box, but as I said, these were really tricky conditions. So going further, mimicking the angle, he reduced it a bit until the end that he could reach the roundabout. And the braking zone was also really tricky, that you didn't miss the braking point, because actually on this side of the track there was quite a lot of grip, but going into the roundabout the grip decreased, and there was a big decrease in the end of the roundabout. You will see it just in a second, but Matt did a really great job. He kept it sideways, he increased the angle just before the roundabout, he put his wheel in the zone on the outside, so the cone's actually marking the end of the track. So if you hit a cone, you're basically off track. So he did exactly what the judges wanted him to do. I could also follow him perfectly because he was on the perfect line. As you can see, also almost similar angle, about a meter away, and now we're getting close. And where Matt is now, there's the really slippy part. As you can see, there's a line. The right side is the normal racetrack, and the left side they actually paved just for that event, so it was really new tarmac. And the thing is, new tarmac has very low grip when it's raining on it, so we had really to adjust our throttle position steering to account for the difference in grip from the surface. So going around here, I also increased the angle and hit a puddle. That's why the angle turned even more there, and I almost tagged Matt with my rear wheel, but I didn't, so it was just really close. I think there were like 2-3 centimeters. And the next one I'm quite proud of is that transition. Inside I felt like it was super slow-mo. I really could see everything happening, and I wasn't hectic or anything about it. So I saw, okay, he's coming and transitioning, and I will just leave him enough room to get his rear through my front. And as you can see, this is probably 5 to 7 centimeters here, but this was perfectly timed. So doing the transition, he actually stayed on a bit shallower angle. That's why he pulled away a bit from me after that. Okay, so now here's the drone shots are ending, but yeah, on the way back I think I did a great job following him. And yeah, it was just an amazing battle. So I jumped out of the car and had the time of my life. And here actually the verdict from the judges comes in. And yeah, they gave me the win. I was really happy. I think my first top 4 for this season, if I'm not mistaken. I was really happy about that. Going back to the team, they were celebrating as well, cheering me on, that I really managed to get Matt, who's quite a range specialist. Here you can also see again his onboard. So he is really calm and collected, going through the roundabout, braking, e-braking, shifting down, again e-braking, clutch kicking, and there I was really close to him. He was actually looking over to me, transitioning and going back. And here he was so far inside, you can see the car was wobbly, that he dropped with his left wheel into a big puddle of mud, and the mud got sprayed onto my car. So this was a bit tricky when coming back. But I was, yeah, super lucky, super happy that I won that battle and moved on to meet actually Jack Shanahan in the next one. So maybe we talk about this battle, because this one was a good one as well, in another episode. Thanks again for joining. I hope you liked it. The live stream pictures were great from that event as well. The fans, that was also one point that I have to mention. So we've been in Ireland and it was basically raining from around Saturday afternoon until Sunday after the event, but the fans, they stayed there. They stayed out in the rain all day. It was cold, it was rainy, it was windy, but they stayed there, they celebrated, they cheered us on. It was an awesome crowd there. So it was, yeah, an honor to drive in front of such a crowd, and luckily put down, I think, a quite good show in the end. So thanks again. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you next time. Enjoy. Have a good one. Bye.